It was a part of the city that Jay didn't know, a part of the city he had never visited before. It was for a call center job. The idea didn't thrill him, but when you're unemployed and broke, beggars can't be choosers. He called and left a message that he was interested, and they called back and left a message, and here he was, on this strange, mean street. It was a rainy day, with a cold, persistent drizzle, and Jay kept ducking into doorways for protection as he scanned the unfamiliar buildings, looking for the address. It was due to the rain that Jay didn't realize, at first, that he was being followed. There were 3 men. He couldn't see them clearly in the wet and mist, but they looked big and were all dressed in dark, in black clothing. And then Jay found the address. It was a huge, white, modern-looking building, taking up most of a city block. Jay quickly hurried towards it to get away from the rain and away from the 3 men. He was about to cross the street when the 2 cars collided right in front of him. An older, ratty-looking Ford Expedition had slammed into the back of a small orange car, a Kia or a Subaru. A man wearing a shirt and tie and boasting both a Beatles haircut and a porn star mustache jumped out of the Expedition and began screaming and pounding at the windows of the smaller car. In spite of the rain, a jeering crowd quickly formed, but Jay stepped around them. He had a job to apply for. Jay entered the office through a glass door to find the reception area empty. Empty and dark. None of the overhead lights were on. He walked over to the desk and leaned against it, noticing that there was nothing but dust on the desk, and that there wasn't even a phone or a chair for the receptionist. In fact, there was no other furniture in the entire room. Jay didn't know what else to do, so he waited. After about a minute, a blonde woman in a sloppy white uniform came through a door and stepped to the reception desk, where she stared at Jay with an annoyed expression. Jay found it rather unnerving. Clearing his throat, he managed to sputter, I'm here about the job." Without a word, the woman turned and left by the same door. Jay was not impressed and felt like leaving too. But he was broke and really needed this job. But his irresolution was dissipated by the arrival of 2 policemen. Both cops had mirrored sunglasses. "You see the accident outside?" one of them barked. "Yeah, but," Jay started to say, only to have the second cop thrust a sheaf of papers towards him. "We need you to fill out this witness statement." And then both of them said, "Now!" And then they left. Fortunately, Jay had a pen and started filling out the forms, even though it was hard to see in the dim light. He managed to fill out the first 2 pages, but was disturbed by the increasingly intrusive questions, such as, "What was your mother's maiden name?" Or, "How much do you weigh?" "What have these questions got to do with the accident?" he said to himself, followed by, And where has that woman gone?" Jay angrily stuffed the papers into his jacket pocket, then walked around the desk and through the door in search of the woman in white. The corridor beyond was even darker, but within he found a young woman who was also wearing white, a sweet-looking girl of around 20 who said, "Ah, there you are. Come, Mr. X will take your picture now." "Why do you have to take my picture?" Jay wanted to know, but the young woman had already turned away from him, and he had no choice but to follow her down the dingy corridor and then down 2 flights of dark stairs to another large and dimly lit room. "Wait here," the young woman said, before disappearing through another doorway. Jay contemplated just getting the heck out of there. But he needed this job so badly. He couldn't pay his rent. A door he hadn't noticed before opened, and the 3 big men from earlier stepped into the darkened space. They were all dressed in black and wore smoked glasses, and Jay noticed that even though he had first seen them outside, in the pouring rain, their dark clothing was totally dry. They moved towards him in unison, and then the lights went out. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the night floaters, werewolves, and the black-eyed children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Dr. Curious, and show downtown Escanaba, Michigan, in the rain, while the music was the ever-creepy Aftermath by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.